Are you your biggest hero or are you your worst critic? Our self-talk is so important for changing the neural pathways in our brain.
There is something special inside you.
Welcome to GNG Podcast with your host, speaker, best-selling author, Chaz Jackson.
Yo, what's going on, kings and queens? Boy, Chaz Jackson coming back to you once again, representing GNG, Gifting and Gift. I have the amazing Debra. She's in the building with me on this episode. Are you ready to get it, Miss Debra?
I am ready and excited, yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time, your effort being on GNG podcast platform. The audience is super eager to learn more about you, your story of how you became a life personal coach, inspiring for others to unleash the giftedness inside of them, to get unstuck and to bring their gifts to reality. So
right.
If you don't mind, can you go into your story a little bit about how you got to where you are in 2022, shining the light the way you are?
My work as a professional life coach truly is a natural alignment for who I am. I have always had an interest in self-improvement. You know, how can I be this better version of myself? I've always had an interest in the body, mind, spirit connection and a natural curiosity about people. I'm a people person, and I think that goes all the way back to when I was a kid. I grew up in a household with 4 sisters and a brother, so pretty lively household. There was like constant activity going on. And I remember as a teenager, my sisters and their friends would come to me and share what was going on. And if there was any way that I could help, I was like all in. It fed me. It like lit me up from the inside. But back then, there wasn't life coaching. And I ended up stepping into, I majored in college in business, stepped into the human resource management profession, got married, had 2 wonderful children, and life moved on, right? And things were great. And then about 20 years ago, I hit a crossroads in my life. And I didn't understand what was going on. I felt an emptiness inside. I was searching. I was floundering. I was yearning for something more in my life. But it was like, I didn't know what the more was. I really didn't. And I was too embarrassed to let anyone know how I really felt, right? Like I had this persona. Oh, life is great. And work was fine and personal life. But on an inner basis, I felt totally different than how it appeared from people looking, from the outside in, so to speak. So I've always been a woman of faith, and I turned to prayer, hoping to find guidance. And I would do, from the time I was a kid, I kept a journal. So I continued on with my journaling, hoping to gain some insight in my writings. I read as many books as I could because, again, I've always had an interest in the workings of the mind and self-improvement. So I bought books and did my meditation practice, did yoga, walks out in nature. But I discovered that I wasn't coming up with the answer. I couldn't figure it out. That's when I turned to a spiritual life coach. And she was instrumental in helping me to really start to dig within. You see, only when we start to do our inner work do we really have an awakening that happens for us. Because inner work is all about inner transformation. And so when our inner world changes, our outer world changes in every way. We change our relationship with ourselves, so it just stands to reason that everything else changes, right?
Exactly. I agree 100% on that one.
Yeah.
So it's, definitely It starts from inner first. And, a lot of times through life, and we all discover that at different times or life periods, situations, circumstances in our lives to make that become more of a reality to us. But what you think about grows, right? And you become to think about, the story that you tell yourself will become your reality eventually from the inside. So I totally agree with what you're talking about.
That is so true, because thoughts are energy. And so the brain believes what you tell it the most. So it's like, look, when you get up in the morning and, you get out of bed and you have your morning routine, where are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? What is your self-talk like? Are you your biggest hero, or are you your worst critic?
Wow, Debra, somebody please say that one more time.
Yeah, well, it's true, right? It's true when you think about that. Are you your biggest hero, or are you your worst critic? Our self-talk is so important for changing the neural pathways in our brain. And, when we spoke a while back, I had mentioned that the work that I do as a professional life coach is different than other coaches, because I actually use a program with all of my clients called the Dialogues. And it is so powerful because it deals with spirituality. So once again, spirituality, issues of our spirit, right? How are we feeling inside? What is our self-talk like? What are our beliefs about ourselves, right? What are those beliefs? Do you that, and that's why I get back to what I just said. Do you believe that you are capable of? Do you believe that you are deserving of? Do you believe that you're smart enough? Do you believe that you can succeed? Or is it the opposite? Right?
Yeah, are you that big critic?
Yes, are you the critic that's like, wow, I really want to start my own business, but what if I fail and I end up out on the streets? Or I really want to write this book, but what am I going to say, and who would ever have an interest in reading it? So those stories that you tell yourself, your self-talk is so powerful. It is so powerful. And so that's a starting point for each and every person, is just having that awareness. Because what happens in life is that, and especially over the last couple of years, with all the uncertainty and all the changes, people live life in autopilot.
Wow,
right?
That's so true.
Right? Yeah, you get up in the morning, you have the same thoughts, and I'm going to share with you that we have anywhere between 12,000 to 80,000 thoughts per day. Now think about that. That's a lot of thoughts, right? And neuroscientists know that out of between the 12 and 80,000 thoughts a day, 80% of those thoughts are negative. And 90% of those thoughts are a repeat of the previous day. So if they're negative, if they're repeats, we're like the hamster on the wheel. And the good news around all of this is that we can get off of that wheel, and we really can lead this amazing new life. We are the creators of our lives. And we really, as you said, it's the power of our thoughts. We have it within us to make those changes. But it comes down to belief. Do you believe you can do it?
Boom. She's already dropping some amazing gems on this episode. Guys, you become what you think about. I truly believe that. And I love how you dive deep into your story a little bit more, Debra, and about the things that you believe in. And it does start with that self-talk. I love what you shared. Are you your biggest hero, or are you your biggest critic? And right. I want to challenge whoever's listening right now to really evaluate that in the mornings, because gosh, my morning routine sets the tone for my entire day. It's such an essential part of my life personally. I'm speaking from my own experiences, and I want to encourage everyone who's listening right now to embody that and to take the daily challenge on implementing and evaluating how you're starting your day, because that's truly a huge vital piece from my own perspective, and listening to other amazing people and coaches, teachers, parents who are implementing and doing great things is really getting that morning routine in place. Now, Debra, I know the theme of this episode is embrace a new you. So when you hear embrace a new you, what comes to mind when you hear that?
You know what? There is a new you each and every moment. And that is the truth. See, we don't have to get stuck in those old beliefs about ourselves. If you feel that you are living life afraid, fearful, uncertain about life, or not feeling safe, I want you to know that a lot of those emotions, those thoughts, are based on old programming. Do you understand? The programming of the mind, right? The brain. And that gets back to what I said earlier, those beliefs. So I would encourage when you get up in the morning, have a mindful moment. I tell my clients, make sure that you have 3 mindful moments a day: morning, lunch, evening. We all have 1 to 3 minutes to think about something that is positive in our life, a blessing, what we are thankful for, what or whom we are grateful for. Have an affirmation for yourself on the mirror, when you're brushing your teeth, I love and accept myself, or I am safe. I am determined to let go of the past and move forward into a new space in my life. And that's why I say, embrace the moment. We can make these amazing changes when we make the decision to do that. It's our choice. Do you see? It is a choice that there's so much out in this world now that is so uncertain, but the one thing that we do have is a choice with how we think, what we think, how we think, and with our feelings. We have choices. We can choose love over fear. We can choose calm over stress.
That's so true. So true. And I know there's a parent that's listening right now, Debra. Some of the things that you truly specialize in is helping people get unstuck. Right. And they're listening right now, and they feel like they're in a stuck position, whether it's in their career or business or financially, on a health decision. We can draw the line and plug in different circumstances, situations, traumas, and dramas that can happen throughout our lifetime. But they're stuck right now, and they're not really thriving on helping their kid or that young person in their life to really get to the next level. Is there any encouragement or tip or technique that you can provide to get that parent unstuck?
Yeah, it's so important for parents, for everyone to have what I call healthy self-care habits. What are your self-care habits on a daily basis? What are you doing for yourself emotionally, spiritually, physically, and mentally? Are you taking care of yourself? And again, I'm going to go back to what I just said. Are you taking a walk? Are you going to the gym? Are you physically, are you eating healthy? Those self-care habits that are so obvious, a lot of times people are not doing them because of the busyness of life, right? They just think they don't have the time. And so it all begins, as you just even mentioned a few minutes ago, it all begins with first thing in the morning. I would encourage everyone, first thing in the morning, to think about something, think about your self-talk, be positive, even have a positive affirmation on a Post-it note that you put on your mirror in the morning, or you stick on, somewhere on the dashboard of your car. Our brain believes what we tell it the most. And
that's so powerful.
It does. And you know what? Optimism is just plain healthy. I'm going to share. I grew up in a household with a very kind of a my dad was emotionally absent and rather gloomy. The poor it just was who he was, right? And my mother was, the glass is always half full, not half empty. And so I grew up with this role model of this woman who had a turbulent marriage with my dad, but you know what? She was an optimist. Her life, she believed in the goodness of people. She believed in her strength. So she left her legacy that she left to my siblings and I was optimism. And I realized that it's just plain healthy to try to, and again, you have the power within you. I want everybody to know that you truly have the power within you to make these changes. They're step by step, day by day. But again, it starts with your self-talk. It does step into your beliefs. If you believe that you can achieve, you will. You see, if you believe you can, you can't. If you believe you can't, you won't.
It's so true.
Well, right. And so that's what I said. Self-care is so important. Taking care of your spirit, your mind, your physical self. So if you're not doing any of that, I would encourage your listeners to start a small practice for yourself, set a goal, but make sure that the goal is something that you will do, because we're not always good at keeping promises to ourselves. And so maybe that's a goal that you say, I will keep a promise to myself. That would be a great goal of keeping your promise. And then making for yourself a weekly, starting with a day, a week, setting new intentions, because your intentions are the creations behind your goals. So again, set new intentions for yourself, starting with the morning, with your mindful moment, with that prayer, with that healthy, optimistic thought. Have your affirmations. Make sure you are doing the healthy self-care practices. And then when you feel filled up with your light, with your inner light, obviously you have that to share with your children and with your spouse and with your coworkers. Right? It grows. When you start to feel your inner light shines brightly for yourself and for others.
I love it, Debra. I had to put myself on mute because I'm in here like, ooh.
but truly, it is so true. And I just want people to believe in themselves. Again, believe, and you can achieve. And that's a neuroscience piece of how we can create new neural pathways in the brain. We really can. Again, as recent as 20, 25 years ago, even neuroscientists thought that once we hit adulthood, right, and the brain is fully formed, which is around the age of 26, we have those habits, we have the programs, that's it. We can't make changes. Well, that is no longer true. We can change the neural pathways in our brain. We can get rid of just all those behavior patterns that keep us smaller than who we are. And, scientists have actually seen light in our body. They've seen the light in our cells. And they know there's a part of our brain that has unlimited potential, unlimited. So it's like, go for it, because you really can achieve. You really can do it when you set your mind to it. But just remember, what is your self-talk like? What do you tell yourself on a daily basis? And we can all overcome. Right? Nobody gets through life unscathed in some way. We've all had to push that boulder up the mountain at some point or time. But there's an easier way to do it when we start to tap into our light.
Boom. She is dropping some gems. Queen Debra is on GNG podcast. I know you guys are super excited. I told you to get your pen and paper at the beginning. If you didn't, go ahead. It's okay. Pause it. Get your pen and paper. So there was so much value that was shared there. Debra, thank you so much for blessing GNG podcast again with your presence, your insight, your giftedness. You know, we're constantly taking daily challenge on this platform of becoming a passionate visionary. And I know you're taking that challenge too, because you're super passionate about what you do. I can tell you care about people, you value people, and you are a servant leader. And I know there's someone's listening right now. It's like, hey, I want to get more in front of Debra's work. I want to know how I can reach out to her. Can you share some of your contact information and also just share some things that you have going on in 2022 that we could be praying about, be lifting you up on?
Yes, you can take a look at my website at DebraRossi.com, my name. And I would just like to say this also, because I feel that this is so important for everyone. If you have never journaled, I'd really like you to consider journaling, because when we journal, it actually helps our brain to process information. It gives us insight about what's going on inside of us. You know, what are those thoughts? What am I feeling? And often if you journal from a third person perspective, if you say, wow, Chaz had a really great day today, and this is what happened, or this is how he felt, you know, as the observer of you, you will be amazed at what you discover about yourself. You really will. Journaling is very powerful. It truly is very powerful.
You know, I journal, but I never really journal in third person. So that was an awesome tip. I'm listening to that one. That's a good one.
Give that a try. Give that a try. And I can tell you that, again, people, I think now are really searching. They're searching now more than ever, because the last 2 years of everyone's lives have changed and have been affected. And just know again that when you start to search, you will find new awareness about yourself. And with that comes growth. And growth is very exciting. It truly is, because it takes you into a whole new level of what you are realizing. Wow, I can really do this, right? So it's about making yourself bigger, happier than where you were at before.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for diving deep and sharing your information and just being a light to the world, Debra. This has been a treat having you on GNG podcast. I'm speaking life into all your endeavors. I'm super excited to see what God does next for you and your ministry and all the people that's going to be coming in your path. I know you've impacted so many, but there's going to be so many others that can just stand on your shoulders and be able to see farther, because you crossed their path, because you're helping them overcome those stuck points and get into their strongest version of themselves. So again, thank you for being on GNG podcast and blessing the audience. And
thank you, Chaz. Thank you. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead and lead us out. I told each and every one of you that this is going to be an amazing episode. Again, drop in the comments, whatever platform you listen to this episode on what application point you're going to take the daily challenge on implementing. Right. What Debra kind of mentioned before. And I already know the third person journaling, that's one that I'm going to take. So I'm sure you can take that one alongside with me, and also be encouraged to just share and let us know how we can continue to add value to you. So I want you to stay up with GNG. More episodes coming soon. I want you to do two things for me. Keep that crown on your heart, family. And please remember this. We are God's echo. I love each and every one of you. Peace.
Thank you for listening to GNG Podcast. Remember, you are gifted differently to make a difference. Please visit chazjacksonspeaks.org and let's continue to grow together. God bless.